You followed the label to the letter. You brought home the best plant in the shop, got it in the ground, kept up the watering, and it just sits there. No new growth, no showy blooms, nothing like the picture on the tag. If anything, it looks worse than the day you brought it home. Sound familiar? Here's what the garden center never tells you. Hydrangeas aren't hard to grow, they're just fussy about the specifics. Most people make one small misstep, sometimes a whole stack, and everyone quietly holds the plant back from day one. Today you're getting the 7 costliest planting mistakes that stop hydrangeas from thriving, and a few catch even seasoned gardeners. No recycled tips, just the real reason your plant is stuck. Stay with me to mistake number 4, because that's the quiet reason more hydrangeas refuse to flower than anything else here, and hardly anyone realizes they're doing it. By the end, you'll know what went wrong and how to fix it. Let's get into it. Number 1. You put it in the wrong light, and the fix is the opposite of what you'd expect. You've read it everywhere. Hydrangeas want partial shade, so you settle on somewhere shaded early and sunny through the afternoon. For most hydrangeas, that's backwards. On the common big-leaf mopheads most beginners buy, afternoon sun is the enemy. It hits at the hottest part of the day, scorches the leaves, drains color from the flowers, and stresses the plant so hard it quits blooming to survive. Morning sun does the opposite. It's soft, it dries the dew early so fungus can't take hold, and it gives the plant fuel to make flowers. So aim for a spot facing east, with a few hours of gentle morning light before it falls into afternoon shade. The east side of the house, under a tall tree, or behind a fence blocking the western sun all work. That beats any fertilizer on the shelf. One exception. The cone-shaped panicle types handle far more sun and even want it. But the mopheads need shelter from that afternoon blast. And if a young plant is stuck in a bad spot, move it in early fall, while the soil's warm and it has all winter to settle. Number 2. You planted it at the wrong depth. This sounds too basic to matter, yet it ruins more hydrangeas than almost anything. Set the plant too deep, with the crown under the soil line, and 2 problems show up at once. Water collects around the stem's base, and hydrangeas rot at the crown frighteningly easily. Meanwhile, the roots run short on oxygen and slowly suffocate. But don't overcorrect. Perching it on a tall mound is just as harmful, because roots left too shallow dry out fast. What you want is boringly simple, which is why it works. Set the plant so the top of the root ball sits level with the soil or just a touch above. Not buried, not stranded on a hill. The right depth follows the root ball in your drainage, not a fixed formula. In heavy clay that holds water for days, lean toward that slightly above side and mix compost and coarse grit into the backfill. Too deep drowns it, too high starves it. Number 3. You water little and often instead of long and deep. You heard hydrangeas love water, so you give them a splash every day. It feels caring, and it's teaching your plant to fail. When moisture always sits at the surface, the roots have no reason to reach down, so they stay shallow. Then, one hot, dry week rolls in, the surface bakes out, and the plant crumples into a dramatic wilt, not from real thirst, but because those shallow roots have nothing in reserve. Flip your rhythm. Instead of constant little sips, give one long, slow, deep soak that carries water well down, then let the top dry before you go again. That pulls the roots down into the cooler, steadier moisture below, and a deeply rooted plant shrugs off a missed day or a heat wave. How long and how often depends on your soil, weather, and hose. So don't chase a magic number. A soaker hose or drip line is ideal, feeding slow and low at the roots instead of soaking the leaves. Aim for soil that stays evenly moist, never soggy, and never bone dry. Number 4. You prune it at the wrong time of year. This is the one I told you to wait for, and it's very likely the single biggest reason a healthy-looking hydrangea won't bloom. The cruel part is the plant never warns you. It leafs out, looks perfectly fine, and simply never flowers. So you blame the soil or the weather when the real culprit was your pruners. Hydrangeas fall into 2 camps based on where they form their flower buds. Some bloom on old wood, meaning last year's stems, and they set next summer's buds before winter even arrives. Others bloom on new wood, the fresh growth of the current season. The big leaf mopheads, the lace caps, and the oak leaf types bloom on old wood. The panicle and smooth types, like the well-known Annabelle, bloom on new wood. Why does that matter so much? Because cutting an old wood hydrangea in late fall, winter, or early spring slices off the very buds about to open into this year's flowers. You've canceled the show before it starts. For those types, the safe move is a light trim right after summer flowering, taking out dead or crossing branches only. The new wood types are forgiving. Cut them in late winter or early spring, and a harder cut rewards you with bigger blooms. One modern exception: some newer big leaf varieties rebloom on both old and new wood, so they forgive a mistimed cut. But if you don't know which type you own, live by one rule: identify your hydrangea before a single blade touches it. Number 5. You feed it the wrong thing at the wrong time. Fertilizer feels like generosity. More food, more blooms, right? With hydrangeas, that backfires. The classic mistake is a high nitrogen feed applied too late in the year. On the bag, you'll see 3 numbers, the NPK, standing for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That first number, nitrogen, drives leafy growth. Sounds great, until you're pushing soft new shoots in late summer and the plant heads into winter covered in tender growth the first frost destroys. On some types, that wipes out next year's flower buds, so keep it simple and early. For most hydrangeas, one feeding of a balanced, slow-release fertilizer in spring as new growth begins is all you need. Add a second light feeding if you like, but no later than midsummer, then stop so the plant can toughen up before the cold. Now the fun part, with one limit. Only big leaf and mountain hydrangeas change color, so this does nothing for panicle, smooth, or oak leaf types. For the ones that respond, it comes down to the soil. Acidic soil with available aluminum turns the blooms blue. More alkaline soil turns them pink. You can nudge toward blue with aluminum sulfate, but carefully, because overdoing it can genuinely harm the plant. Test your soil first and shift it slowly. And an insider tip: if you want blue, ease off heavy phosphorus feeds, since too much phosphorus locks away the aluminum blue flowers depend on. Number 6. You skip the mulch or you pile it on wrong. Mulch looks like a finishing touch. For hydrangeas, it does real work. Their roots sit shallow, which makes them sensitive to temperature swings. With no mulch, the soil bakes in summer and freezes hard in winter, and both extremes stress the plant, cut blooms, and in a cold snap can kill the flower buds set the season before. Mulch acts like a blanket that evens all that out. Spread 2 to 4 inches of organic mulch, shredded bark, wood chips, or leaf mold in a ring around the base. It insulates the roots, holds moisture between waterings, smothers weeds, and breaks down to feed the soil beneath. But here's the catch people miss. Never heap mulch against the stem in a volcano. That traps moisture at the crown and invites rot and pests, undoing the whole point. Keep it pulled back a few inches from the stem, keep the layer flat, and top it up once a year in spring. Number 7. You give up after one slow season. This last one isn't about technique, it's about patience, and it counts for more than people think. Hydrangeas go through an establishment period. That first year, sometimes into the second, the plant pours almost everything into roots underground rather than showing off up top. So getting very little that first season is completely normal. It's not failure and not a bad plant. It's doing exactly what it should before it's ready to perform. The people who end up with jaw-dropping hydrangeas plant correctly, then resist the urge to rescue a slow start with more fertilizer or pruning. They let it build its foundation on its own clock. By year 2 or 3, a well-planted hydrangea in the right spot pays you back with more blooms than you can count. Don't dig it up, don't drown it in products, don't panic. So there you have it, 7 costly mistakes, every one fixable. Quick run-through. Gentle morning sun, shielded from the harsh afternoon. Plant it level, never too deep or too high. Water long, slow, and deep, not little and often. Know whether yours blooms on old wood or new before the pruners come out. Feed it balanced and early, then stop before fall. Mulch without smothering the crown. And give a young plant time to settle in. Here's the thread running through all of it. Hydrangeas were never difficult. They're particular. And the moment you stop fighting what they want and fix the conditions, they turn into some of the most forgiving, generous, show-stopping plants in the garden. If this cleared things up, do me a favor and tap that like button, because it helps the channel reach more gardeners fighting the same plant. Subscribe and hit the bell too, since more deep dives like this are coming. Then tell me in the comments, which of these 7 were you getting wrong? Be honest. I'm betting for a lot of you it's number 4, the pruning, because almost everyone trips on that one. Now head outside and give that hydrangea what it's been asking for. I'll see you in the next one.